And there we go. Good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Time for another Learning Live. And we got some good stuff to play with. I'm excited about tonight. You will have to bear with me a second. I went to clean my glasses while we were going live. And of course, I made a bigger mess of my glasses than I intended to. So as you're joining in, let me clean my glasses and let me say hello and tell you a little bit about what we are going to be playing with tonight. So I think it was last week, maybe it was a couple of weeks ago, we shared with you these new designer paper pads from Studio Light. Studio Light is a UK-based company, and they've got some pretty interesting stuff. And one of the things I shared on What's New was the card making pad, and that one has pages that are pretty much you pull out a page, and all the elements you need to make a card are on that page. This one is called a die cut designer pad, and it is a little bit different. First, I think they're the same size as the card making pad, but instead of each page being about a specific card, this one is just filled with beautiful papers, lots of different designs on the papers, and then as we get to the back, we're almost there, I promise. There are some pieces that you can cut apart. So these are, I don't know, they look to me that they're about a 4x6, 4 a little bit by 5 3/4. This is an A4 pad, which is just, I believe, if I remember correctly, it's a little bit narrower, but a little bit longer than a letter size, North American size pad, but there's a lot of things that we can make use of. And then here at the back, there are all kinds of little punch out bits that we can use. So I just, you know what, we're just gonna go through and we're just gonna craft. We're gonna craft together. And if you are watching, then whether you have this pad or not, get out your craft supplies, craft along with me. Maybe not doing exactly what I'm doing, but then it's kind of like being at a crop together. We're just gonna craft and have some fun.
Are you saying that you're winging it on Learning Life?
You know what? Winging it is kind of my middle name, but I do have a plan. I do have an idea, and I do have a plan. Whether what my plan starts out and what my plan ends up being, two totally different things. One thing I forgot to mention about this pad is everything is listed on the back too, so you can see kind of what you've got to work with if you can't follow along in the pad. Now I'm going to start out by doing a 2-page layout. Got some great ideas for this, and then I'd like to at least make one card. I'm thinking because this pad is so big, I'm going to try doing a slimline card, the full slimline, not a mini slimline. But you know what? We're just going to see. We're going to see where time takes us. Other things that I brought home to play with is the 6x6 wood grains pad from Echo Park. These have been really, really popular. There's a cool palette and a warm palette. I think the 6x6 warm palette were sold out. And Matt, we're getting low on some of this stuff. So on our next Echo Park order, we're going to need to make sure we add those in.
I'm not going to remember that 10 minutes from now.
Well, hopefully between the two of us and all these wonderful people watching, we will remember. Okay. I did also just grab 2 sheets of the 12x12 from the cool palette, because I think it'll go really nicely with this theme and with this paper pad that we're going to be working with. But you know what? I always reserve the right to change my mind. So that's why I also brought home some blue cardstock. This is Coastal from Basil. Matt's just laughing at me. Does he not know that I change my mind from time to time? Lastly, I did bring home a set of the Studio Light. They're called Torn Edge Ovals. We have squares and we have circles. The rectangles already sold out. But Well, I think when we ordered them, we only got a few because Dennis was out, but then I will have to check to see if he has more. Anyways, I brought the ovals home because I thought they would be fun to play with. All right, so I am going to start, and let's just open up this pad and see what we're going to play with. What my plan is, using the wood grain paper, is I want to take one of these beautiful excuse me, beautiful girls, the paper with the girls on it, and put one in one corner and one in the other corner. And then we'll see where we go. Now I did print out what my plan is and what this is really at this point don't look like they're even remotely the same, but this is our May layout sketch. Chris did a beautiful layout using this sketch last week on Learning Live, but I brought it out just in case, just to even help me with photo placement because, well, you just never know. Okay, so what papers are we going to start with? I do love this yellow, and I think we'll be able to do some beautiful matting with it. But right now I'm going to leave it in the book. This page here is probably one of my favorites in the whole pad. We've got this.
She's reading a book.
She's sitting in a field reading a book. Butterflies and flowers all around her. And even though I'm not much of a dog person, we do have a puppy here in the corner. So let's just start by taking that out. What else do we have in here? So we just got an ombre. We've got some ghosty pink flowers. We've got this one here with the girl in the camera. And I think there's one other girl. And this is where I need to decide. That's the puppy. I thought there was a girl with a book. Maybe no, I'm wrong. We're gonna go with the green girl because we really only have the two girls here on this pad. And then the other one that has a little vignette or a focal point like this. So there's patterns. But we do have this one here with the little puppy. Maybe I'll save that and use that for my card. So we'll come back to that. We'll keep coming back to this pad. Where's a good place to put it? I'm going to move my die cutting machine just for now.
You couldn't even use a clean sheet?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope, we're not using a clean sheet. Okay. All right. Paper trimmer. Let's take off our advertising strips here. I do tend to just eyeball this. For those of you who are wondering, this is the weathered wood grain in the Cool family from Echo Park. All right, so we've got that started. On the back is just more of a tonal solid, but of course, if you're going to buy wood grain, you might as well use the wood grain. And we'll get the blue out of the way. Oops. All right. Making sure I try to stay on camera here. 1 and 2. So again, my thought, my idea is that I'm going to fill in the corners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put her over here for right now. I'm not going to use this whole piece. We're going to do some editing here. But with this pad being an A4, it is almost 12 inches in height. So you really get really good coverage, even for a scrapbook page. Just that little bit of a tiny border. And then I've got this girl over here. Do I like it like that? Yes, I kind of have to, because if I'm going to do something here, I couldn't do it here because it would cut her in half. All right, so here I am. I'm just going to go for broke. Luckily, there is 2 of each sheet in the pad, so I can, if I make a boo-boo, I have a backup. But I'm just going to tear. And I love tearing as a technique. It gives a really rustic finish, which, works really well for this outdoor fields, works well for the wood grain. And I'm just going to go for broke. So my goal is to just kind of come from that corner up to the top. Okay. And I'm pulling towards me so that I do have that little bit of a white.
So you actually want the...
I want the white edge because that will help. It'll help define it against that wooden background. It does also really give that vintage kind of torn book look, and softens the edge as well. So there's a bit of a corner here. I can go back in and just edit what I've already done. And if there's too much white, you can go in and tear a little bit closer, but I'm just going to leave it as is. You never know. We've got lots of space here. We might come back and use that. And then this one's going to be a little bit trickier because I need to get around our girl, but I think we should be okay.
You trying to replicate the...
I just want that opposite angle. It doesn't necessarily have to be a mirror image. This is where the big piece tends to get in the way a little bit, but and if you keep your left hand kind of close, protecting the space you want to keep, it's going to keep your tears from getting away from you. All right. So got this pink paper with the butterflies still left. And again, I've got a bit of a sharp edge here, so I can come back in, tear a little bit more, and get that down the side. So that's going to go like this, and it's creating a really nice little bookend. Now, if I were really adventurous, I could leave this as a pocket and tuck things into, but that's not really what I am going for tonight.
Sounds like a Darlene thing.
Definitely a Darlene thing, but I love how this is just, it's kind of giving you peeks into what's happening on your layout here. Let me just cut quickly some white paper for photo placements. These all look, you know, I'm going to make the executive decision that these are all going to be 3.5 by 5. So they're a little bit smaller than a 4 by 6. I can always trim down a little bit more if I need to, but this will give me something to work with. So 3.5 by 5. There's the 5. We'll do a second one.
Yeah, see, Darlene agrees that pockets are her thing.
Definitely pockets are a Darlene thing. Oh, 5 is what I want, not 3.5. So 3.5, 3.5, and 3.5. That gives me six photo spots to work with. And so I'm going to try doing one here, here, and I'm kind of trying to mirror this, but I don't know if it's all going to work out. So let's go down here and there. That's kind of interesting.
I like it.
Inspired by the sketch. Okay, but what else can we do? Do we need a little bit more color in here? I think we need just a little bit of pop of color. So we're going to pull some of the solids out of here to do some photo mats. I love, as I said off the top, I love this yellow. And I was gonna pull this pink, but maybe waste not, want not. No, yeah, you know what? I was gonna say maybe we pull this, but let's go ahead and use what's in the pad. So there's that yellow, there's this pink, and I like to do things in threes. I think we've talked about threes before, whether you're doing embellishments, whether you're doing clustering. And right now we have 2 girls. I feel like we need a third. So this is where I'm going to come here to the cut aparts. I'm leaning towards this one here with the quilt on the little wicker chair. Way back, I used to do cross stitch, and there was a designer that I used to follow who did all kind of quilt patterns, and this is very reminiscent of that. So I probably will come back to that one. We've got this girl here, but it's pretty much the same girl, and this girl here is pretty much the same girl. So I don't
really. The books one.
Well, I might use the books for the card.
Oh, okay. Or the basket.
I want a person. So I want a person. So I'm going to use this one. Did I already pull one out? I did not.
Darlene points out the big girl with the quilt faces the other way. So that's good.
That is also good. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you, Darlene. So what I'm going to do is I might... Let's start by just cutting it square, and then we'll see if we go back in and cut it as an oval, because I like the ovals as well. All right, that one's done. Okay. So I could, if I tucked her in here, that really makes my triangle, but a lot of her is getting covered up. So let's move some things around. I don't want to crowd her too much. So maybe we do. I don't know. Oh, that feels a little bit better. And then put this one back. Vertical, horizontal, vertical. I like this because what this is doing is just like reading a book. You're drawing your eye from left to right across the page. Again, we're not crowding our girl down here too much. And yeah, I'm feeling that's starting to feel a lot better. And right now I'm really just placing and playing and seeing where things end up. Do we want to turn her into an oval? I don't think so. I'm feeling that this is working nicely, but what I might do, just so that she matches the other 2 girls, is let's do some torn edges on her. So I'm just going to go across the top. And gently across the bottom, so that we're matching our elements, we're marrying our elements. And Darlene and I were joking earlier. One of my cardinal rules with scrapbooking is what you do to the left, you do to the right. Same thing with visual elements. If you're going to do a treatment to it, whether it is inking or tearing or rounding corners or doing something artistic to it, you want to make sure that you're consistent across all of your elements. So having this torn edge, having those torn edges, and having this torn edge just brings it all together. And okay, so what else do we need? I pulled out that paper to do photo mats. So focal points. I think we want maybe these 2. Again, we're building a triangle here. So I'm going to cut this yellow paper. These were 3.5 by 5. I am going to cut my yellow paper down. Let's do 1/4 of an inch more. 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch. Let's start with 1/2 inch. We can always go smaller. So 3.5 by 5 would be 4 by 5.5. There's 5.5 there. And I think I should be able to get 2 4s out of here. 4. And yeah, just 4. And let's do one set of the pink as well. So 5.5 by 4 and 4. That's just going to give us some nice little photo mats for our pictures. Okay. So the yellow one. Originally I wanted the yellow one here, but I also don't want pink on pink. So let's do yellow up here. Let's do pink down here. Then let's do yellow here and pink here. So the only one that's kind of getting lost is this little guy here. So let's grab our green. And what did I say? 4 by 5.5. 5.5 by, oh, I'm just gonna make it nice. So here we are pulling all the colors in from our vignettes. Oh, let's get rid of this. We've got our lovely girl here. We've got our 2 girls here.
You lost it. You lost a picture.
Oh, I accidentally threw it away. It was underneath this scrap. Thought something was missing. There we go. Gotta have a jaunty angle.
No, you don't. Put it horizontal.
Put a horizontal. There we go. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. A lot. Okay, because I like it a lot. Time to commit. We're not going to overthink this. We're just, you know what? Sometimes
keep it simple.
Sometimes layouts can really just be simple. So this is always the hard part. And this is usually where I will use my camera and take a photo of this so that I can have it sitting there and I'd be able to put everything back in the place where it belongs. But since I can't, since my phone is already being used.
You need to borrow mine?
Nope. I think, well, what I'm going to do is now that I've got this matted, I'm going to try and keep them in the same order as I take them off the page. This one is horizontal. I love this yellow. This yellow just makes me feel like sunshine and happiness. Now, just to give you some other insight into, kind of our planning process. When I was at the store today, I had the pad and I'm like, well, what color of cardstock would work well for our base pages? And my first inclination was to pick yellow because the yellow made me happy. But I found that it was almost overpowering. It washed out the pattern. And even though there are traces of yellow down here in the pattern, the pattern on the paper, I just found that everything just fought with the yellow. I then looked at a tealy blue, which was almost this color. No, actually, it was more this color, but it didn't work super well with the green. And then this is where I thought, oh well, maybe the blue would work really nicely. Pulls out the blue here, pulls out the blue over here. But I hate to say it, it was kind of boring. So that's where we pulled out the wood grain, and it just really helped lift the rustic elements of it. And that's just a reminder for you that you do not need to use solid color cardstock as your base. Go ahead and use pattern paper. Go ahead and cover things up and just let that texture shine through.
Wood grains are a great basic to have in your stash.
They absolutely are a fabulous basic.
It's almost a must-have. Just for the times like this.
Yeah, if you're ever going to hoard something, then hoard your wood grain.
Should have taken a picture with my phone.
Why?
So remember what we did.
No, I remember. And if I don't remember, well, then I'm going to pretend to remember. So again, we're kind of cascading down the page here. And then we're going to come over here. And this one's already kind of gone a little topsy-turvy, but I think we'll be okay. Any questions so far? Everyone's just following along?
Yeah, they like that. They like it. Donna said that the mats make a big difference. So I asked her which mat she was referring to.
Well, that mat definitely makes a difference when he gets bossy. But we'll get this out of the way.
Seems the agreement is that the wood grain does make a big difference. It really, it worked.
I'm very happy with that choice. And you know what? When we're crafting, when we're kind of pulling through our stash, there are a lot of times where we might, hum and haw, and we might overthink. If something feels right, it feels right. Uh-oh, Matt's laughing. What's he laughing about?
Overthinking?
Overthinking. No, we never do that. We never do that. But I encourage you to trust your gut. So I'm going to bring that one right up there in this corner here.
That torn edge kind of looks cool. Gives it some character.
It does gives it that little bit of rusticness. Or if you're not someone who likes tearing, get out your ink, get out your blending brushes, and do some ink blending and some distressing on the sides. Just gives it that little bit of definition. So let's come down there.
Pull the other one out first.
I know. So hopefully what I'm showing you tonight with these designer pads is that just because you're doing a larger format project doesn't mean that your paper has to stretch the whole way. You can get really creative with the pieces that you've got. And look at that layout already coming together. Okay, close your eyes, everyone. I'm going to lift the camera just a smidgen. It may get a little rocky.
What are you doing now?
Well, just so that I can get more. There we go.
Oh, good. You're in.
But I love how that, just so simply came together. This would be great for Mother's Day photos. We just had Mother's Day this past weekend. This would go really well to bring in some nice garden photos. If I love taking pictures of my garden and the butterflies and everything that float around. So this would be perfect for that.
Ooh, is that caterpillar we saw the other day going to turn into a butterfly?
He might.
That'd be cool.
He might. All right. So we've got our base elements down. Let's see what we've got in our die cut pieces that we can add into here.
So you are at 29.
Okay. So I'm just going to do this so I can, let's put this here so we can see. So this page here is very pink. Got lots of pink flowers, pink butterflies. It's got another chair with a quilt, but I don't think we need to repeat that. We've got yet another girl over here, but having 3, don't feel like we need a whole lot more. I do like this flower here. I like this little here. So we'll put a pin in that one. There's 2 of each page. So then we come to this page. This page has a whole lot more yellow to it. So that first page was pink. This page was yellow. Since the yellow is the color that makes me the most happy, I'm probably coming back to this one and we'll pull out some of these guys. And I know I said 3 people. We already got too many. But oh my goodness, she is beautiful. I definitely want to use her. And maybe, well, let's see what's on the last page. So then this one has more blues. Blue butterflies. We've got some sentiments here. And is that the last? Oh, there's one more page after this. Then we've got this series here. Because Easter is past, I'm really not feeling the bunnies. So I'm going to come back. Let's go back to that yellow page. You know what? I'm going to pull the blue page out if I can. Now, you don't have to. I'm just doing that so that I don't have the pad here in the way.
Maybe you're not pulling it out.
I am. It's just fighting me.
Maybe you're not pulling it out.
Listen, Peanut Gallery. There's that one. And the yellow one.
Sandra says use the yellow butterflies.
Yeah. I think the yellow butterflies, but the blue flowers.
See, if it was me, I'd be done. The layout would be done.
Because you're awesome.
No, just as it is. No more.
Oh, you wouldn't do any more.
No, I'd be
okay.
Done.
So I have to use her. I have to. She's just.
Why?
Because she makes me happy.
Okay.
And 1, 2. Okay, I'm overthinking, so I'm just going to move on. We've got the camera here. Let's do another basket. We've got that basket there. And then let's just punch out a whole bunch of butterflies. Oh, this one's already got stuff in it, but if I don't have a little bowl to put these in, they're all going to get lost.
That looks like it's really easy to pick the things you want. No fussy cutting required.
No fussy cutting required. Now, what you might want to do if you know you've got a project coming up, you could just sit in front of the TV and you punch out and keep all your butterflies together, or keep your flowers together, or you could just do what I'm doing. You pick your color scheme. So I want, there we go. And then what have we got over here? I love these blue flowers. Now, on each of these pages, there are a number of sentiments as well. They are a little bit on the smaller side, so I think they're designed for cards, but there's some nice memory keeping ones, like this is the moment. What a beautiful day. Let me show you what I'm going to do with it. So let's pull, this is the moment. What a beautiful day. Capture every moment. Because so far I don't have a title, and that's one of the things that this this pad lacks a little bit is titles. So you could absolutely add your own title, or you just use these little words. So let's do happiest season of the year. I've got 3 over there, so I need 1 more to make it 5. Be always blooming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these little word sentiments here, and I'm going to do 3 over here. Get my tweezers. Just as these little word clusters, and it's going to also help draw attention to certain things. Then I'm going to do capture every moment because it goes really well with the camera, and this is the moment. Now I don't really want moment and moment on the same page, so let's put that one up here, and let's take be always blooming over here. So I've just got these little clusters of words. And you could pop them up if you want. I'm going to just go for simplicity and glue them. They do not need to be straight. Jaunty angles are definitely acceptable. Adds to the rustic kind of feeling. This is the moment. Be always blooming and capture every moment. I tend to like to put my words kind of like right in the heart of the action. So I've kind of squished it in there in between the butterflies instead of having it out on the outline. Foam squares. There we go. So those are my words. I want a third one here. This one keeps bothering me, so I'm going to do fluttering by to say hi. And then my words are done. Okay, now let's do these guys. This one's just going to tuck. I love her. Peeking out. This one I think I'm going to put on foam squares. Almost like it's sitting on top of that photo. And then I've got my basket down here. 1 and 2. All right. And now I'm not even thinking. I've just got all these little bits and bobs that I've popped out of here. And we're just going to tuck them where we can tuck them. They bring little hits of color. And once again, my encouragement is don't overthink it. Let them live. They don't need to have logic. Okay, and so if where do I need? I think if I'm connecting this triangle here, I need something down in here.
You may need to finish this later if you want to get a card done too.
No, that's okay. I'm good. All right, so 1, 2, 3. I've got one more blue flower. Yeah, you know what? If it's not happening, don't force it. We need our butterflies. I know Matt's conscious of time. I've already, as we were looking through stuff, I've got some ideas to do really quick cards with these pads. I think we can even get 2 cards done. That's how confident I am. As Matt rolls his eyes, say, but there's a hockey game on, or is there? No hockey game tonight. So here's our butterflies, and I'm going to add maybe this nice big butterfly here. There, and do I have a little foam square? Now, sometimes our best laid plans don't come to fruition. I don't know that I'm going to be using that oval die tonight. But look, This looks a little bare. What are we going to put over here? One more butterfly. One more butterfly. But this is where you could put your journaling. This is where you could tuck an actual title in if you wanted to. Oh, make sure he's right side up. Okay, how does that look, folks? I think we're calling it done. Let me bring this. So we've got our girl, we've got some butterflies, we've got some nice embellishment clusters, we've got some fun little words over here. And then on this page here, we've got our other vignette with the torn edges. We've got some cute little butterflies, some blue flowers, and finishing off with capture every moment. And all of that was out of that pad. So lots and lots of great stuff that you can work with without really over embellishing. And yeah, I could probably spend another half hour or so just embellishing and adding butterflies. I could add pearls and gems onto that. But I think you get the idea from a layout standpoint how these designer pads really can come together. All right, let's do some slimline cards.
Slimline.
Yeah, we're doing a little different because this paper is so big and beautiful. Let's do some slimline.
Are these the ones that fit in the number 10 envelope?
These do fit in the number 10 envelope. So their actual size is just over 8.5 by just over 3.5 when it's folded down. So let me, because I know I'm going to forget. So 8.5 by 3.5 is what we want for our paper. So I know I already said, and I know we were talking about, I want that puppy paper. There he is. And we did talk about using the books. Did I already pull that one out? No. Basket, there's the books.
And the basket.
Well, that one's got a basket too. The other one had a basket. And I think I probably have enough of this paper. Yeah, to do my base. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. One easy card. Start with our puppy. Out of the way, or I'm going to knock it flying. So our paper is already 8 1/4, which is just that little bit smaller than the 8 1/2. So I don't need to cut this at all. What I need to do is I need to do 3 1/2 here. Look how perfect that is. And that's going to fit. Oh, it's a little bit. Maybe I'm going to trim it 1 more 1/4 of an inch smaller. I feel that'll be a little bit more proportional.
I think what I've learned watching you craft,
yeah,
is that no matter how big of a space you have to work with,
it's never enough.
You need twice as much.
There is never enough space. But I will also say that because I am working to a time frame, I'm not careful about where I put my stuff. But that's okay, because that means I just have to clean up afterwards. Or tomorrow. Okay. That wasn't hard, was it? But we can embellish just a little bit. I'm going to... This one looks like a really nice get well card. So we've got this little sentiment here that says, hope you feel better soon. And I think that can tuck right there. I am going to use a foam strip so that it stands out. Too long, that one will work. There we go. And this one already has lots of those beautiful blue flowers on it. Right there, right in the heart of the action, right by our little puppy. But how many little yellow butterflies do I have left? Let's add some little yellow butterflies. And again, probably in hindsight, as I glue it on, maybe a foam square would have helped them stand out a little bit. And there's a bigger one here. And let's put this one here right by this. So what this does, and you know, as much as that looked like it was really quick, I was somewhat intentional with my placement of those butterflies because it's by building that triangle, it's drawing your attention into the puppy and drawing it down to your sentiment. And sometimes that's as easy as a card needs to be. So that's number one. Number two, I wanted the books. Now the books are going to be wide. So I'm going to trim it closer to the books than maybe what you might think I would do. So let's do this. And I'm going to come really close, really, really close, because I need to be under that 3.5 inches. So there. Can I get a little closer on that side? I think I can. I'm going to leave the height. And I need a piece for underneath. My original plan was yellow, but I think maybe. Oh, let's do a double. No, we might not get wide enough. Hang on. How big is this? This is 8. That's 8. Yeah, so 8.25 by 3.25. That's our main piece. Yeah, this is too wide. So snug that into place with a nice border all the way around. We're going to do our books. Like so. I don't have any big butterflies on this one, but I've got this guy here. Can go right there. And again, you could put lots of little butterflies on here. Too much stuff. No, there's no vignettes of a girl with a book. You know what? I'm just going to call it. Oh, but you know what? This is fun. This one's got a little camera. So that would look really cute down there in that bottom right-hand corner. Or sorry, left-hand corner. And today we celebrate you. sure you get it the right way up. There we go. So there. 2 cards and a layout and a huge mess.
You
But
should show the pad again because there's a lot more people on now.
Okay. All right. So we will do that recap. So tonight we were using the Studio Light Designer die cut pad, and I barely dented it. I've pulled out a couple pieces of the solid paper. Then there's the beautiful paper with the girls. Now we do have another theme as well that is more purples and blues. And then there are a series of pages that have these 4x6 cutouts, and then all the punchy bits that you could just go to town on and have so much fun. You can use it for layouts. I know Darlene is anxious to get her hands on my leftovers to do some TN pages. And while it is a thinner paper, it does work really well for your project. If you wanted a little more oomph to it, you could definitely add some cardstock to it. And then this was my plan that I didn't get to. You could use oval dies or circle dies and things like that to cut out those vignettes a little bit more interestingly. So where does that go back into place? So that is that for Learning Live tonight. Still have lots and lots of goodies to play with, whether you are making cards, whether you are making layouts, or something in between. I hope these make you smile. I hope they make you feel happiness and joy and capturing those moments that matter. And I hope you learned something tonight. So thank you very much for joining me. Have a good night, everyone.